Joining me in the studio from the Warren County Board is Chairman Mike Pearson.
Good morning, Vanessa.
Good morning. And Sean Cavanaugh, Building and Grounds Chair. Good morning.
Good morning, Vanessa. Thanks for having us here today. And I must admonish you for that forecast.
I didn't do it. Don't blame the messenger.
That is true. It's not your fault.
Gosh,
the Rotary Pork Chop Barbecue Tuesday from 4:30 to 6:30. It's going to be a little warm, but you can drive up in your air-conditioned vehicle and pick up a delicious meal for $10. But 94 degrees.
It is what it is. Yeah, we were looking up the records, and this is not a record. 96 is not a record. It's a 101, and the coldest high was interesting. Was 56, so that was kind of unique as well.
I like that.
But anyway, we got to jump right in, guys, because we have a full morning show, and we have 3.5 hours worth of that county board meeting that we need to jump right into this morning. Where would you guys like to start?
At the beginning, I guess, we started out with appointments. We have added to our county board. We had 2 vacancies, and we filled one yesterday with the appointment of Mr. Cox.
That would be Austin Cox.
Austin Cox, yes.
AJ Cox, he is known as a police officer here locally in our community.
Yeah, he's one of the proud, we're very fortunate to have a very good police force, and he's part of that team. Joe Schweitzer and the gang, they do a great job over there, and it's always nice to have a law enforcement angle in on the county board. It's very helpful.
Now, he's appointed until November of 2024?
Yes, November 30th.
Okay, and then what happens?
Well, this is reorganizational year, so essentially the first Monday in December, every other year, the county board reorganizes, seats any new members, and reorganizes itself, elects a new chairman, vice chairman, and then appoints committees.
Okay. And you said we have another vacancy. So how do people become a county board member?
Typically, it is solely up to the discretion of the county board chairman to nominate someone, and then the county board will vote on whether to accept that person as a member or not. There are other committees like the Central Committee that can offer a recommendation, or 10 recommendations, 100 recommendations, whatever they say they would like to recommend. But ultimately it comes down to what the overall board chairman, Mike Pearson, decides on who should be appointed, and then he takes that to the full board. Typically, when it comes time to appointments, we understand that it's typically a temporary thing until they can then run on their own if they so desire after their time on the board.
Right. If this would have been 6 months ago or a year ago, essentially we could appoint them, but essentially then they should pass a petition and get on the ballot.
Okay. All right, so just heads up, those that want to be a part of the county board, what are the perks? Because you don't get paid a lot of money here.
No, we certainly do not get paid a lot of money. As far as perks go, the greatest perk there is that you
get to go to meetings.
You take your role seriously, and you do what's right for the people of your district. You do what's right for the people of Warren County. The beauty about the county board, or the city council for that matter, is it really doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat. It has no bearing on anything. We don't decide the divisive issues that create the Republican and Democrat parties. We're not talking defense bills. We're not talking social issues and laws that impact people in that manner. We talk about local solutions to local problems.
Okay.
There is no division of party, if you will. I mean, someone can try and make it that. They probably wouldn't last too long in the success column because people aren't interested in hearing one side or another politically in these meetings. They want to hear about solutions.
Okay. So we also talked about the proposed budget for coming up. That's going to be talked about throughout the summer.
Right. We started that, really last week with the working on the numbers and putting things together. That's an ongoing process. We have to have a proposed budget in October at our October meeting, and then we can have to finalize that in November. Actually, that's not totally correct. That's when we're going to do it, but according to state law, county budgets have to be approved in September. So our September meeting, we will actually recess and reopen in October and November to meet the state guideline. But I know of no county that has their budget actually finalized in September.
And it's such a lengthy process. First, we have all the department heads come in, and they tell us what they think their allotted amount should be and why it should be that. We go through that line by line, and it's a pretty incredible process because you really learn. You always kind of know what they need and want, but then here they just lay it out and they put a dollar figure to it, and they could put down whatever figure they really want. And then once all those dollar figures are accumulated, we see what it adds up to compared to what we think revenues might be or whatnot. And then the budget committee, which is comprised of all of the finance committee and the other committee chairman, we then go through line by line to make slight adjustments to make sure that we do not have a deficit. And Warren County, I gotta hand it to the county board. Every county board member contributes wonderfully, but we are, I think, one of 2 counties with 0 debt out of 102, which is impressive. When we build the jail coming up here, that obviously is going to change for a temporary period of time, but it's a lengthy process, and the budget's this thick, and we go through line by line.
Right. Well, we'll be talking about that through the summer as we continue to see you guys. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other appointments that you want to bring up? Okay. Then Jenna Link from the Warren County Health Department gave her presentation as their fiscal year end wraps up here in June. She has her proposed 25 budget like you just referenced. The big news, I think, was Megan Vansel is a new nurse at the Warren County Health Department.
Yes. Yeah, she's looking for a dental hygienist because her current dental hygienist is jumping ship to another vendor. So that position is open if you know of anyone that's looking for a job and is qualified.
Okay.
Well, we're very fortunate. We have Jenna Link as running the health department because she's put together a fantastic team. I mean, she always, when she comes to report to my committee or the finance or any of the other committees, she has so many incredible things to talk about that she's done. And she raises a rather large amount of money through grants and so forth, something to be very, very proud of as the citizens of Monmouth to know that they have that at their disposal. So we have not only the original health department, but the dental clinic. And I think they have a 3-month waiting period.
They have a tremendous waiting period, and they're only taking new patients from Warren County. Because Jenna says they turn down between 1 and 3 people a day for appointments.
Mm-hmm. If there's an emergency or tooth broken in half or something, they may squeeze you in.
Work you in, but otherwise, it is a while.
It proves the need. Yes. So we are very proud of Jenna and her team. So anyone that sees Jenna or her team out there, be sure to give them a high five because they deserve it and they've earned it. And we're very fortunate to have her in our community. Very fortunate.
Yes.
A couple other presentations. We had Andrea Monroe from the Chamber and MCAP, and she's getting her feet on the ground and busy. And we also had a presentation from Jake Armstrong, who was the president of the Warren County Farm Bureau.
Who picked the wrong meeting.
Yes, he did.
To come present that plaque. What do you have to wait, hour 45?
I don't know. But anyway.
He got a chance to learn how the sausage is made.
Yeah, he did.
But it was...
So did my employee, Kaylee, who was there to take a picture of Jake doing the plaque for the Farm Bureau.
Didn't you love it there? Didn't you learn a lot?
Oh, yeah.
See?
He was...
Everyone should sit on those meetings.
It's very good.
Actually, it is good for people to sit in and see how county board works and get to know your folks.
And this was a very lengthy, unusual meeting.
So that plaque was presented. And so let's talk about the need for assessment values that you guys spoke about yesterday. And I believe you did, if I heard the roll call correctly, you approved a company to come in and start taking video footage.
We did. We approved Eagle View aerial imagery to work with our assessor. Essentially what they do is they take aerial photographs but rather than in the late fall or early spring or summertime, they do it in the middle of winter when there's as little few
when the leaves are off the trees,
and so you get a much better perspective. And they use unique cameras that not only take the picture of the top straight down, but they can also get the sides of the houses and properties and structures. So it's actually scalable, so you can tell how big the structure is and how tall it is,
and exactly where it is coordinates wise. The problem is that people might have built over the years a building, did not pull up building permits, and are not paying property taxes on that particular structure. And we, with this imagery product, we will be able to equalize everything, and everyone's paying their fair share. You know, and it could be that someone bought let's say a house, and they didn't know that guest house or shed or whatever wasn't included in their property taxes. This will allow us to play catch up and have everyone paying for their property taxes for their properties. And from just one township, there was a stack of papers this thick of photographs.
He's referencing 2 inches.
Yes, at least. And so the software, the product, if you will pay for itself once it's up and running by a long shot. And it's
we're talking
2 years.
2 years when you feel you'll have all the data compiled from these photographs and can reassess people's properties. Is that correct?
And we're not looking to say, well, gosh, you didn't. It was built 10 years ago. We're going to go back 10 years. We just want to get them starting paying now. We're not looking towards the past. It's for whatever reason it was not included on the tax rolls. We're just going to move forward with it and not look towards the past, because that really might be a twist on somebody, and we're not looking for that. We just want to even things out for everyone so they pay their fair share. And let's be quite honest, Warren County needs the income. We have expenses. We just approved nearly $180,000 for body cameras for the sheriff's office and cameras for the patrol vehicles. And that money needs to come from somewhere. And we need to generate funds, and that's by having people pay their fair share should do the trick.
What I mean, we'll get definitely to the body cameras. I want to point out to everyone that there was a lot of discussion on this about privacy, and you guys had made what's called like a friendly amendment to ensure privacy of these photographs, so they're not falling in the wrong hands.
The detail of the sides and everything is going to be restricted to the assessor and the sheriff's department.
Because someone could sadly use it for nefarious reasons to stake out someone's house, know where the entrance points are, the weak points, and so forth. So the sheriff will have access, and the courts, if they need access for one thing or another, obviously they can have access to whatever they want when need be. But it's not for people just to go willy-nilly poking around people's houses.
And also want to point out that these are not drones, so you don't have to worry about some sort of a drone in your backyard taking photographs. This is 3,000 feet.
3 or more thousand feet, by
through
regular airplanes.
You guys, I want to have you come back in July and let's talk about how is something assessed? How is property assessed? What are property taxes? That would be really good education for taxpayers.
I think it'd be a great education. I think bringing in the school districts as well. Obviously, when you look at your tax bill, people get upset about the county, but it's not the county that takes the lion's share. Educating our children costs a fortune, and keeping up with the buildings. But I think it would be a wonderful thing for people out there to truly understand why the numbers are what they are on their tax bill.
And we'll bring our expert, which would be Mike McVeigh, our assessor.
Yes, he'd be great to have to explain all of this. Yes. Okay, for time's sake, what else do we need to hit this morning?
Well, we touched on the body cameras.
Yes.
And they are very important. The sheriff is mandated to have body cameras on his people by the end of the year. And with the same company, as a package deal, we're also getting car cameras. And I think the car cameras are as valuable or maybe more than the body cameras. But they work in tandem. And the car cameras are actually two. One is forward facing with a wide view, but they also have one in the back seat.
Yes, which is important.
Yes.
As we learned from the sheriff, that video is key and vital as to how someone may become injured. Did they create the injury themselves? So on and so forth. We got a chance to even watch a
There's
video
some
that
wily characters that get arrested, and we need to make sure that it's documented what's going on there in the back seat.
protection for all.
Right, because
absolutely
that's
for
for
everybody.
the arrestee as well as the officer doing the arresting. Yeah, everybody's covered.
And make sure that nothing's overlooked. So if someone has a legitimate complaint about something, whether it be the officer or the person being detained, we can go back to the video because the video does not lie.
Right.
And there's storage for that. It was $174,000, I believe, for all of it, payable over 5 years. The sheriff has a fund that he has access to, which he will pay probably $50,000 to start, and then that'll cover the first year and then some. And then the county will take it either from county general or something else as time moves forward, depending how revenues fall in place and so forth. But it's a must-have. They were mandated for the body cameras.
Sure.
I think I said last time they weren't nearly as expensive before they were mandated. Then magically the price went up. Isn't that something?
Always works that way.
I'll be darned.
Okay, and we also the county board hired a part-time administrator for the website with all the new features, and there's a lot of transitioning, moving the county into the 21st century technology-wise.
Right.
So Jennifer Smith will be handling that.
She's
And
outstanding.
Yes, she does a great job, and we'll work with her closely because that's a very important website for people to have access to.
And it goes beyond the
documents.
website as well as some of the other technical
Yes.
work she does. Because
I was a little
those are the-
surprised that we had 500 pages.
yeah, that's great. It's a lot
Lots
of
of links.
information. Lots
Yes.
of information to get out to people. But people at the courthouse aren't exactly Bill Gates when it comes to technology, so they needed Jennifer Smith to walk them through things.
Technology surpasses everybody quickly.
It really does.
There's so much of it, so it's nice to have someone who can interpret it and execute what needs to be done. Also took care of the circuit clerk, Denise Schreck, and the coroner with Al McGuire.
Right. We had to pass their salary resolutions before this month so that we beat the deadline before election because it has to be so many days before the election. So that got taken care of.
Okay.
And that pretty well took us to the end of the
It did.
of the meeting. Yeah.
There
Okay,
was
well-
a lot of discussion. Sometimes, people can get a little excited, but it's okay. People need to get their opinions out. Those on the board, we had some public comments. People, if they from the public need to say something, they can come fill out a public comment form, and they're given 5 minutes to talk about things relevant to the county board. And we had several, and it was a very productive meeting. We got a lot done, and we've got a lot more that needs to be done. And people out there should be thankful of their county board members. There's not a bad one in the bunch, and give them all a high five, right?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And we will talk about that assessor, talk to your assessor,
Okay.
and just get our education on how taxes and all that's, how are buildings assessed, what's the value. How does I'm interested to know, too.
That's an interesting subject because late next week, if all goes well, you'll have your tax bill in your hand.
Well, you can have it right back there.
You can refer to all of those line items that are on
That's
it.
a great idea.
Yeah,
We'll just go through
and
what these terms mean.
And definitely look at your tax bill to see where the funds are going. The county collects the taxes. We send them off to the state, and then they have to send us our money back. But the county, in a sense, the county is not the highest at sales property tax that you pay. It would be the school districts, which far and beyond, it's just really, they really take it
Okay.
to town. But they need to. They educate our kids.
All right, gentlemen, thanks so much for coming in
Thank
this morning.
you.
Thank you.
Mike Pearson with us, Sean Cavanaugh with the Warren County Board.